Let me ask you something. Have you ever had a moment where you're sitting in your room, staring at the ceiling, and you realize, damn, I'm an adult now, and I have absolutely no idea what I'm doing or what I want to do with life, because you are not alone. For the longest time, I genuinely thought I was the only one secretly panicking while everyone around me looked like they had life perfectly figured out. Spoiler, they don't. We grow up hearing that our 20s are supposed to be this highlight reel decade: travel, money, parties, romance that magically falls into place, a career that conveniently shows up at your doorstep. But the reality? Most of us are juggling confusion, pressure, and uncertainty like it's a full-time job. There's this weird contradiction where you're old enough to handle real responsibilities, but young enough that everything you're doing still feels like a questionable experiment. And honestly, no one really prepares you for that. This is the era where everyone starts asking you, so, what's next? Job, career path, long-term goals. And if you don't have an answer, you start feeling like you're behind. Even though, deep down, you know life isn't a race. But man, that pressure hits hard. Psychologists call this phase a quarter-life crisis, but I think that makes it sound too dramatic. It's more like a recalibration. You're rearranging your identity, finding out who you actually are versus who you're told to be. And that process, yeah, it's messy, but it's necessary. Let's be honest. Social media does a phenomenal job at making you feel like trash. You scroll for 2 minutes, and suddenly everyone your age is launching a business, traveling through Europe, hitting insane fitness goals, or magically earning $20,000 a month from something called content creation or dropshipping. Meanwhile, you're staring at your laptop thinking, why does it feel like I'm the only one still trying to figure out step one? But here's the reality check. 90% of what we see is performance. People share their peak moments, not the nights they cried or felt lost. Not the failures, not the uncertainty. You're comparing your behind the scenes to someone else's highlight reel, and that's a losing game every time. One of my biggest weaknesses, starting. I delayed projects because I convinced myself they weren't good enough yet, or maybe I wasn't good enough yet. And every time I finally started, I realized the same thing. It wasn't half as scary as I made it seem in my head. I'm telling you this is because people assume creators or motivated people never struggle, but the truth is I struggle a lot. The difference is I've learned to start even when I'm scared, even when I'm unsure. That's the real skill. Another reason this decade feels chaotic, everything is changing at once. Your relationships, your environment, your goals, your support systems. Friends move away. People you thought were permanent turn into strangers. Relationships end, even the ones you swore were endgame. And every time something shifts, you're forced to rebuild a bit of yourself. When I went through some of my hardest years, I remember feeling like the ground under me disappeared. But those years also forced me to look at who I was outside of the depression, anxiety. It made me grow in ways I wouldn't have otherwise. Pain shapes identity just as much as success does. Now on a different topic, let's talk loneliness for a second. Because a lot of young people and people in their 20s deal with it quietly. You go from seeing friends every day in school to suddenly feeling isolated in your apartment after work. It's not that you don't have people. It's that you don't have the same people, not the same support system, not the same routines. And when everyone's busy with their own lives, it's easy to feel like you're drifting. But this phase teaches you independence in a way nothing else can. You learn how to be alone without feeling lonely. It's a skill, one that makes you stronger. Here's a part most people never tell you. Being lost is useful. Seriously, it forces you to experiment, to try new skills, new environments, new paths. You learn what you don't want just as much as what you do. Stoic philosophy talks about this idea that discomfort reveals your values. The things you miss, the things you crave, the things you can't stop thinking about. Your confusion is mapping out your direction. You just don't see the full picture yet. Now I wrote down a list of the stuff that actually helped me. Let me give you the stuff that actually helped me, not that generic, grind harder nonsense. Make tiny commitments, not giant goals. Want to get fit? Start with 10 minutes a day. Want a better career? Apply to one job or read for 5 minutes. Momentum beats motivation. Number 2, pick a direction, not a destiny. You're not choosing your forever. You're choosing your next step. Big difference. Number 3, reduce comparison triggers. Unfollow people that drain you. Mute accounts. Clean your digital environment the same way you would clean your room. Number 4, build one new habit that makes you proud. Not a perfect habit, just something that gives you daily evidence you're improving. Number 5, talk to someone. A friend, a mentor, a therapist, a stranger online. Be safe, of course. Talking untangles your thoughts faster than thinking alone. These are simple, but they compound. And in your 20s, compounding is everything. You want value for your time, and time for your value. If you know what I mean. That probably made 0 sense, but you know what I mean. Purpose isn't found, it's built. It's built through action, through trying things, through messing up, through noticing what energizes you and what drains you. I promise you, your purpose won't magically appear in a dream. It will show up after you've taken enough steps that you can look back and see the pattern. You discover your path by walking, not by waiting. Listen, I know this decade feels heavy sometimes, like you're wandering with no map and everyone else got a head start. But the truth is, none of us really know what we're doing. We're all experimenting. We're all learning through trial and error. Some people are just better at hiding it. Give yourself permission to not have everything figured out. Live one step at a time. Your clarity will come, but only if you keep moving. And remember, you're not behind. You're just becoming.